Beyond the Badge is brought to you by the Edina Crime Prevention Fund.
He was a brother, and he was a servant, and he did a lot of things, but he did it on his terms and through his style.
Well, he was the brother I never had. Sorry. Because he did pass away, and I'm kind of choked up about it, so.
I actually didn't really know much about what he did when I was young and even into my teenage years. I just thought, he was just another regular firefighter. Come to realize last year after he passed away that he had an impact on this entire community, let alone the fire department. People from different states came to his memorial because of the interactions they had with him and that friendship and that lasting impact that he had.
My dad was exactly what all the stories say. He was a larger-than-life personality, and that translated from work to home.
When you first met him, it didn't come off that way. But then as you got to know him, you just didn't forget him.
He would roller skate with the tiniest shorts that you could find from the 70s and 80s, and his Walkman and the headphones. And it was a yellow Walkman that was really durable because he was notorious for banging things up and breaking and losing things. And he would roller skate around Lake Harriet, Lake Calhoun, and he would dance to his favorite Motown hits.
We had a guy that during the winter fell off a 6-story balcony and shattered his leg. And not that we weren't taking care of him, but he had that guy laughing on the way to the emergency room and had all the doctors and nurses laughing, yet the patient got treated, just a rare ability.
You spend 20 minutes with the guy and you become lifelong friends. And I think that's one of the skill sets that's really important for the services that we did, and that is to be able to communicate. And communicate effectively, and he was able to do that like no one else.
I mean, what a cool profession to have, your parent working. I remember when I was a kid, my dad was on one of those posters, the career posters, you have a doctor, a garbage man, a dentist, a firefighter. He was the firefighter.
So he was always a mentor, and not only to me, but also to anyone and everyone. He was a great advocate for the fire service. He was a great advocate, very proud of what he does and what he did.
And when I first started here, and at the 8 o'clock morning meeting, at 9 o'clock you got classes you're teaching at the high school from 9 to 3. And you're going, what? No preparation whatsoever. And JW never really panicked. He thought, well, I'll just do what I can. And then we started teaching together, and then we both realized, and I think he so more, to keep little kids interested, you gotta keep their attention.
And kids looked forward to this because I had kids that were in the same class for years and years, and the teachers actually looked forward to it. He would come in and do these incredibly dynamic presentations where he would pick kids to do things.
And then he would say, kids, sometimes as firefighters we have to rescue people out of buildings, He would go over and just fling a teacher over the shoulder.
Teachers a lot of times weren't ready for that. There was a lot of skirts and heels in the day, so that wasn't something they saw coming.
Luckily, it all seemed to all work, and the kids would go nuts,
And in retrospect, I sometimes wonder if he did that as a cool thing to do for your kid and a positive way to engage, or if part of it was not only that, but if it had more to do with standing up and letting kids know that there's an opportunity for you, no matter what you want to be or what you want to do. I'm here, and you too can do this.
There's not a lot of people of color in Edina, or wasn't at that time. There's probably way more now, but there was all kinds of reactions to him. And I remember, you know, some not too pleasant reactions, but he would kill you with your smile. He would actually make people, if they were being mean to him, madder, because he would smile so hard that it would get to him, you know.
When he had become a medic, he received a call, went out with his partner on a medical. The gentleman that needed assistance told my dad that he didn't want him to touch him. He didn't want my dad to touch him. Anybody else but him was fine. But that was the only specific instance I remember of him really calling out a moment of, I have to be different in this situation. I can't do my job because you won't let me, simply because of the color of my skin.
He was always able to stay above it in my interactions with him. I would say that, you know, especially 30 years ago, we would go out and pick up patients, and they were from a different era, and so, you know, their set of norms were completely different than what society's norms are today. And so there were some times where there was some tension that way, but again, I think JW was an artful, skillful person that was able to break down those barriers, and if nothing else, agitate the person to start focusing on something other than that. And then again, like I said, you know, typically by the time that the call was done, they're hugging and kissing and making jokes with each other.
A lot of times when movies would be filmed in Minnesota, specifically Mighty Ducks, he would be the on-scene paramedic. I believe part of it was filmed at Braemar. He was the behind-the-scene paramedic, and I actually got to go on scene with him one afternoon, and I just sat in a room and ate donuts. But he was out there, you know, making people laugh, kind of meeting the stars, and I think he was in the crowd actually at one point.
And they actually filmed a movie here in Edina called Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold came up to JW smoking a cigar and said, "Hey, where can I get one of those Edina t-shirts, fire t-shirts?" And JW, so quick, he goes, "Do you take a medium or large?"
Dad always, when he would bring me to the fire station, he would always walk out and point at the sign and say, you know, "They named this park after me." And I always thought it was true. Come to find out, he made the sign in the garage himself, climbed the tree and nailed it up there. He was just that kind of jokester.
One of the really cool things, and I saw this echoed back in tributes after he passed away, was there were so many people who said, "I'm a firefighter now because I remember your dad coming in and that was the first time that I saw something like that." And it's something that actually inspired somebody else that I know firsthand, and it carried forward, which I think is super cool.
JW lives on, not only in the markings here, but also through his family and through his friends, and his, you know, how he's influenced myself and how he's influenced, you know, those that he worked with.